I definitely understand that a lot of families might not be able to do that, right? But like I worked with family in the restaurant industry for a lot of years. So I worked with my mom, I worked with my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother. Like we all worked at this one restaurant in town. And sometimes it was easy working with them, other times not so much. But I'm just going to assume that a lot of people listening might not have their mom who can help step in to help out, or another family member. And a lot of people listening might be in a place where they've got all these different things going on. They know they need to hire someone. They're not quite sure how to do it. Like when we'll use your mom as an example again, because that was the first person you technically hired in a way to help you. Like,
Right.
was it difficult at first? I guess kind of a multi-part question. Were you afraid to bring someone on at the beginning? Were you nervous that she wouldn't she'd be 70% of what you were able to do? Like, was there that fear that you'd be really giving away something that you've been doing this entire time to someone who might not do as great of a job?
There's always that fear. But I've learned from not only, owning Get Desky, but also having other assistants and then also running a podcast production company is they're never going to be 100% you. You have to allow the people to be who they are and come in accepting that they're going to fail and being able to give them positive feedback to look at it to where they're going to be better the next time. So that fear of letting go and that they're not going to be exactly like Jennifer, they're not going to do it exactly like Brandon, is just a factor of a reason why you're stunted in your growth. So if you really do want to grow, you've got to start investing in people early while you have the time, because once you don't have the time, you're not going to be able to train someone effectively to be you, to do what you're doing so that you can then, level up yourself. Um, so always invest early on and when you have the time to be able to train someone.
It's really easy to say that. I'm just making a note of what you just said because I love that. And I'm going to ask you a question on that. It's really easy to be like, I don't want to bring someone into the business because I don't believe that they're going to fulfill at the rate that I'm able to. Like, that's an obvious thing, right? It's very rare that
Right.
you bring someone on who's able to do what you're doing in a better way. I guess it could happen, but it's not
Yeah.
what you hire people seeking them to do. But it's an easy excuse to be like, oh, well, they're not going to be able to do it at my rate, so I'm not going to do it at all. Because,
Right.
okay, let's say you bring someone on and you bring someone on as an administrative assistant and they're able to schedule things and communicate with people at a rate that's 65% as effective as you, right? Obviously
Right.
not very great comparing to you, but now you're able to take all of those hours that person has saved you after you train them. It might be a month or two of onboarding and training, maybe 3 months, maybe more, depending on what it is you do. But now
Right.
you've got all those hours back. And then you can bring someone else on and bring someone else on. And depending on how big you want the business to get, obviously, some people want to stay lean in their business. But now you've got 3 people who are operating at 65% effectiveness, but they're not going to stay there. Like what
No.
you said, they're unique.
No, they're
They
not going
bring
to
their
stay
own
there.
value and they're going to keep
Yes.
getting better, right? They're going to keep
Yes.
improving over time in your business until eventually, like my guy, Errol, you literally wouldn't be able to do what you're doing without this person working with you.
Yes, that's correct.
You say to invest early on. So I'm curious, like, how early did you hire your mom in real estate? And what do you advise to other people who are solopreneurs or starting in business? Because they might be saying, dude, I don't even have like my own thing under control yet. Like, how could I possibly bring someone in? When's a good time to bring someone in?
So my mom, I brought her in super early. I had only been, in like really working heavily in the business for about 3 or 4 years. And as soon as I started getting traction, I was like, Mom, come and help me. You could schedule showings for me. And you can, help me do these little things. Within the guidelines that we're allowed to do for real estate, because there's certain things that they can't do. And then with Get Desky, before, as soon as we signed the LLC, we brought people in to train them, because we wanted them to have the time and the space to be able to, learn, to grow, to get to know who my mom was, who I was, like the company culture, all these different things. So when you have an entrepreneur or solo entrepreneur or someone who's in the middle of a startup, it's the sooner you can bring people on to get to know like the company story, your passion, your mission, different things like that, the better. So I would advise anyone that's looking to start something, do it as soon as you can, and and you will figure out a way to be able to pay those people. Because when you not only have yourself to depend on, but you have someone else's family to depend on you too, you find a way to be able to pay them. So it forces you to work on the things you have to work on to keep scaling up.